when I started going to the gym, I found it so hard to stay consistent. I knew that I should have been going if I wanted to build muscle, but I'd make excuses without even realizing it as to why I shouldn't go. I'd say to myself, you should be studying instead, not training. But then I'd proceed to not even study at all. Looking back on that now, I can 100% say that the start is the hardest part. Consistency is something that you just learn over time. And now I've gotten to the point where I don't even think about making a decision as to go to the gym or not. It's just automatic, and it's something that I do regardless of how I feel or what my thoughts are. Consistency is the most important part of your fitness journey, because if you're not rocking up to the gym day in, day out, you're going to see zero progress. And it doesn't matter if you have the most perfect diet or the most perfect form in all the exercises you do. If you're not there, you're not going to make any progress. So if you are a beginner at the gym and you're just struggling to be consistent, you just have to make it as easy as possible. What I mean by making it as easy as possible to go to the gym is just by reducing the amount of friction that exists between you and going to the gym. All we want to do is make sure you literally just set foot into the gym. That's the goal here. And there's many things you can do to achieve that goal. The first is have a gym that's just close to you physically. If you have a gym that's half an hour away, well then there's just that added friction to going because you have to drive for half an hour to get there. If your gym's just down the street and it's a 2-minute walk away, well then you're just going to be so much more likely to go. The other day, my friend rang me up and asked if he could train with me at my gym. His gym is like half an hour away, and he said he couldn't be bothered going there and he'd rather just train with me. And imagine that he didn't have me to call. He wouldn't have gone to the gym that day. Another thing that helped me so much more in actually just getting to the gym was going with friends. When you're there with your friends, it just makes going to the gym a lot more enjoyable. So you're therefore more likely to gonna go. It also keeps you accountable. So if your mate messages you or calls you and says, let's go to the gym, well then, again, you're just gonna be more likely because you can't let that person down. Starting in the gym is also a very scary experience. You know, you've got a lot of machines, you've got dumbbells, you've got weights everywhere. You're not really sure where to begin. And if you go with a friend, it kind of relieves that anxiety you have because you've got someone to go to and ask maybe things if you're unsure. But I think there's also just support you get from having some sense of familiarity that you get with going with a friend. Another point I want to make here is that if you don't have any friends that will go to the gym with you, you can make friends at the gym. It's possible. And if you just show up and if you make the gym a kind of social space for you, as well as being somewhere where you work out. When you walk in, you're going to be saying hi to people. You're going to be saying, what are you hitting today? You know, you're going to have all these little micro conversations that ultimately just make it a lot more enjoyable to be there because you're speaking with people. With the gym as well, there is a lot of content and things that are said online as to what the best ways are to optimize your training. And the thing is, if you're a beginner, you shouldn't really be worrying about all this kind of stuff because it's just going to unnecessarily stress you out and make you less likely to go to the gym because you might be scared that you're not doing everything correctly. As a beginner, you should not worry about doing everything correctly because there's simply no way you're going to be able to do it without merely just starting. If it's your third session in the gym and you're just neurotically thinking about whether you're doing tricep skull crushes and whether you have your arms at the correct angle to best elicit the long head activation of your tricep, it's just unnecessary stress that you're putting on yourself for no reason. And if you worry too much, it might get to the stage where you don't even want to go at all. So I think the best way to go about it as a beginner is just to simplify absolutely everything to the point where you don't really have to think that hard about going into the gym. Because again, we want to reduce friction. Honestly, I remember like Back in the day when I had absolutely zero clue about what anything in the gym was, I would see a dumbbell and I would not know what to do with it. I knew bicep curls, that was it. But of course, I know what a treadmill is and I know what the bike is, so I could do them no problem. And if that's the only thing that you know how to do in the gym, then do it. Because I think by merely setting foot in the gym and doing something, you're making progress. And eventually, you're going to get to the stage where you are using the weights and you are working out quite efficiently to the point where you're going to grow muscle. But again, the point is to just make it as easy as possible for you to set foot in the gym. Looking back on my 17-year-old self now, I think if I just made the process of going to the gym a lot simpler and a lot easier, my consistency would have been so much better. I remember I'd finish school and just feel so tired that I couldn't be bothered going to the gym. But if I just said to myself, just go into the gym for 15, 20 minutes and lift and do some bicep curls or do the exercises that you enjoy, I probably would have done it. And in the longer term, that would have paid off so immensely, even if it was just a 20-minute session. If you just say to yourself, okay, I'm only going to go for 15, 20 minutes, do a really light session, and you stick to that, over time, I think you find yourself just wanting to do more and more because it gets easier and easier. And then before you know it, your sessions are extending to 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. And this is where the progress is truly made. When you're in the gym 6 days a week for an hour, that's when the progress comes. Trust me. So yeah, over time, the consistency just comes. The discipline just comes. It eventually gets to the point where you don't really think about making a decision to train. It's just an automatic decision that happens every day, regardless of what you're feeling, what's going on in your life, or whatever's going on that particular day. I think it's just that first hurdle of when you're starting out for the first time at the gym, that's the hardest. And that's when you've got to make it the easiest. You need to just make it easy at the start so that you actually start. That's all from me. Now, if you enjoyed or learned anything from this video, please consider subscribing. Of course, leave a like, leave a comment, express your thoughts. Let me know what you think about consistency, whether you've been consistent or inconsistent in the gym recently. Now, I do offer one-to-one coaching as well. And if you're interested in that, click the link in the description and you can book a call with me to see what it's all about. That's all from me. I'll see you later.